Hello, everyone. It's Phil Jacobus. I'm here at my office in Lower Manhattan, and it is the 13th of August at about 5 p.m. In a few moments, I'm going to share an interview that I recorded with Bob Gaw, who is a really historical figure in our industry, which I recorded earlier this week when I was at my home in Woodstock. But first, I want to take a look at a couple of important news stories that appear in our online news. First, you see here that GE has launched a 7 Tesla MRI used for both scientists and clinicians. That's very interesting and a worthwhile read. Also, you see that here's a story that might surprise you or might not. Where a lot of early makeshift hospitals or temporary hospitals that were created didn't turn out exactly the way people expected. That's an interesting read with some stats there. Finally, here's a story about how artificial intelligence is being used to speed up the diagnosis of CT images, of COVID analysis in CT. So that's a worthwhile read also. And as always, I encourage you to sign up for our online news. It's really interesting. You'll always learn something every day. I do. You're never too old to learn. And so without further ado, let me welcome Mr. Bob Gaw, who is the president of Physicians Resource Network, which is known in the industry as PRN. Bob, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Phil. It's nice to reacquaint again. It's been a little while.
Yeah. You know, Bob is an icon in the industry, and I think he's been in business for over 30 years. Is that right, Bob?
Yes, I have.
And Bob started, Bob's business, which is located in Boston, Massachusetts area, is caters to doctors and clinics and hospitals and dealers from time to time. So Bob, how has the pandemic impacted your business? Tell us.
Well, it had an impact in the beginning where we had a big push on ventilators, and we did not change our pricing structure at all with the ventilators. We saw prices going really skyrocketing, and I actually got calls from some other dealers, asking me why I was keeping my prices was unchanged, and I felt as though that's what we should be doing. So we quickly sold out of the ventilators and some hypothermia units, and so as from the pandemic aspect. That was the biggest need in the beginning. There were a lot of people contacting me looking for PPE supplies and looking to sell PPE supplies, but that was a challenge because most of the supplies were coming from overseas and they required investments upfront and with a delivery of 2 or 3 months down the road. So it was quite a challenge to try to accommodate some of the orders and the requests that I had.
Now, I think you're right in Boston. I think you mentioned to me that some members of your staff have left because they don't want to be in the city. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I'm in Fall River, Massachusetts, and there were a few people that left and moved to the suburbs. Just they felt as though it was going to be safer for their families. So we're in the process now of restructuring a little bit. It was down to me and 1 or 2 other people working in here in the height of things, which I was getting requests to deliver things on Saturdays and Sundays, and so it actually brought back some good memories from when I started the business, and was driving the truck and doing the bookkeeping and doing, you know, everything. And it was actually kind of fun to get back on the road, to get you know, mingling with the customers again, and hearing their needs, and it was actually good. I didn't really like doing the bookkeeping much, but we've got someone in there doing that now.
Has business suffered as a result of the pandemic?
Has it suffered? I wouldn't say so. I would say we're about status quo. We did get the payroll protection funds from the government, which was a big shot in the arm, which enabled us to you know, to do a few other things, and to hire the people that you know, when you know that we needed to replace. So the payroll protection was a big shot in the arm from a business standpoint, and you know, as far as you know, the equipment's, you know, that's all, you know, that's all about the same. We're still, you know, buying the equipment. We're still reselling it to brokers, to overseas dealers, local dealers. We're still servicing hospitals and physicians, and we had a physician just left here momentarily, and we're still doing the surgical centers in the hospitals, and the local physicians' offices.
So everything is unchanged. Do you see, of course, in the used equipment space, part of the function of supply is to what extent hospitals are buying new equipment?
Right, right.
Do you see hospitals buying new equipment?
Well, I think that's going to have an impact, you know, coming up in the next 6 months. That the used equipment will be impacted. There'll be less used equipment on the market.
I see. That will make used equipment more valuable.
Most likely. So, you know, we still have a 20,000 square foot warehouse, and it's still, you know, we still have to, you know, make do with the space that we have, as we've got a lot of stuff in stock.
Well, Bob, you are, as I said earlier, an icon in the business, and if there were more people like you in the business, of course, we'd have a better business.
Oh, that's nice of you to say, Phil. And it's always, DotMed has been a big shot in the arm for us throughout the years, and I can't say enough about, you know, your fairness and the way you've handled your business has been an example for the people.
Anyway, it's not about us; it's about you.
I understand.
Thank you for those words. And thank you for joining me today. And I hope that we'll check back with you in 6 months and see how things turned out.
All right, Phil, it was always a pleasure.